John, Gospel of John. But before I do, I got a question for somebody that's watching the video or listening to the CD. Oh, here's something I want to like. Is it just rednecks down here in the South that say this, or is it everywhere? When it's hot outside, they go, "Oh, it's hotter than hell. Hotter than hell." Y'all ever heard? You know? And I'm thinking, you know what? If you really believe that, you ought to be thankful. Think about it. If your little temperature outside where you live would be literally hotter than hell, that means it's a cooler place. Think about that. If you're going there, or your family, or your loved ones are going there, what you're really saying is you're going to a place cooler than this. That's stupid, isn't it? All right. What do you talk about the most? What is it you talk about the most? Jesus said this. He said, out of the abundance of the heart, mouth speaks. The word heart there is not a cardiovascular muscle. The word heart there is symbolic of your life. What is let me paraphrase it. The most important thing in your life? Let me tell you now. What's most important to you is what you talk about the most. You want a new paraphrase? Out of the abundance of the heart, thumbs tight. Text. You ever seen people do that on their phones all the time? You know what they're doing? You know what they're chatting about or texting about? What's most important to them? So here's a question for you, somebody's watching this. What do you talk about the most? What do you talk about the most? Yourself. The scripture that I want. Before I get into the Gospel of John, way back in the Old Testament, I'm going to show you something in a minute in Numbers. There's a difference between observing something, or like I just read you this. There's a difference between observation and judgment. And you can apply that same principle to listening to people. Listening to people comes out of their mouth. Without becoming a judge of them, you can obviously observe what they're full of. Okay? I don't mean you cross the line into being a judge, or yeah, I know why they said that. No, it's just like you just kind of obviously look at what they're full of. Do you know anybody that, how shall I say this in a nice way, whether smart aleck, sarcastic? Well, guess what? That's a big part of it. That's what they have in abundance. That's a big part of their life. If someone is very sarcastic all the time, not being judgmental, just being observant, they have a problem in their area. They have a problem in their area. Or if somebody's just angry all the time, or you see a lot of anger come out of them. Well, like Jesus said, out of the abundance of their life is what they're speaking. So if they're just always just full of anger, it's coming out of their mouth. So that's what they're full of. Does this make any sense? Okay. All right, what if somebody just lies all the time? What if somebody, all that comes out of their mouth pretty much is an excuse or an untruth? Again, don't be judgmental of them, but be observant. Guess what? They got a problem in that area. They're just basically, that's a big part of it. They're just full of untruth. You know, and what if somebody, all they do, verbally or typing, is complaining? It's complaining. That's all they do. Don't be judgmental, but be observant. You know why they do that? Because that's what they're full of, is complaint. Negativity. They're just full of that. You know, we use a website Facebook.com, and we use Facebook just as tools. And if you're a real Facebook addict, you probably noticed a lot of people are all they do is complain and complain and post their drama. Don't be judgmental of them. Pray for them. But know this: you know why they're doing it? You know why they're doing it? Because that's what they're for. That's what is in their heart in abundance. Is complaint, drama. This is what I was going to show you in the Old Testament in Numbers. Listen, let me condense the version. When Moses took, everybody out of Egypt, and he was going to take them into Canaan, the Promised Land, it was over 3 million people. He got out there, and within so many days, they got over to Canaan where they could see, and he sent some scouts in, and they came back, and they brought some produce, and the spies came back to Moses, and they said, "We went into that land that you sent us, and it certainly does flow with milk and honey, and here's some of its fruit. It's a good place, Moses." Yeah, dude, that place is bad to the bone. Yeah, it's a cool place. Nevertheless, but the people who live there are big and strong, and their cities are fortified. Their cities are very large. We even saw some descendants of Anak, which means some really big guys. Okay, yeah, it's a good place, and they got a lot of good stuff, but they also got some stuff that we don't like. They also got some stuff that we consider negative. They also got some stuff that we're scared of. So yeah, we went there and we see both sides of this, Moses. We see a good place with good stuff, and we see some scary people in big cities that we're afraid of. Then Caleb, one of the spies, Caleb quieted all the people, and he said, Moses, listen what Caleb said. "We should by all means go take some possession of it. We shall surely overcome them." And that'll be your attitude. No matter what you're facing, your attitude ought to be, you know what? Everybody else be quiet. It says they quieted the crowd. All the rest of you bunch of complainers and whiners, you can just shut up. We will surely go forth and conquer. That ought to be your attitude. But guess what? The men who went up with Caleb said this: "We're not able to go against these guys. They are way too strong for us." And guess what? They didn't go. They spent 40 years walking around the same little area called the wilderness or the desert. They spent 40 years walking around there before they would go into Canaan. You know why? It took 40 years for the complainers to die off. And when the whiners and the complainers finally died off, there was nobody left but just a couple of these guys that originally went in, a new big generation of people who were not doubters, and were not complainers, were not whiners. After the first generation of whiners died, the next generation of believers went in and kicked butt, just like that. Took it all. That ought to be your attitude. And if you got dreams that you want to do in business or in ministry or in whatever you want to do in life, you got dreams, and you're pretty much surrounded with complainers. Don't take this wrong. I'm not saying hope that they die off. No, don't literally hope that they die. But my point is this: until you can get away from them, until you can kind of disassociate yourself away from people who do nothing but whine and complain and doubt, and say, "Yeah, I'd like to go there too, but yeah, I'd like to go to Europe too, but geez, it's expensive, and they got a lot of bad, crazy Muslims and radical tourist people over there, and all they want to do is talk about how bad. Yeah, I'd like to go there with you." This is for somebody. I don't know who. Somebody apply this. Yeah, I'd like to go to Italy, or I'd like to go to Ireland with you, or whatever. But man, it's going to be expensive. We don't have enough money. And there's some bad stuff over there. You know what? You get away from them and find you a Caleb who says, oh yeah, let's go. We will surely do this. We will surely overcome this and do it. Apply that to your business, to your vacations, to your relationships, your call of ministry, whatever. Kind of disassociate yourself with all the complainers and get you some people who have Caleb's attitude. I got a phone call this week from a guy named Caleb in Colorado who has got a heart just like this. And it was all about another video thing. So thank you, Caleb. You hang in there.